Yeah, good morning. Hey now, PSW staff, clients, and friends for Wednesday. Happy Wednesday. Yesterday was fun looking at Louis Jordan, one of the early pioneers of boogie woogie rock and roll, and we're going to see today how he influenced a genre of music in the 1950s. I mean, he was mostly doing that in the 40s, though. When you think of that, it's wild. What he was doing on the saxophone, this gentleman we're going to talk about today was doing on the guitar. He chose the right instrument to be, not that saxophone's not cool, but there's something about the guitar that teenagers loved, and we're going to talk about teenagers and the 1950s, and we'll have way too much fun. So today, yes, we're going to be talking about the great Chuck Berry. Everyone knows Chuck Berry, right? American singer and songwriter. Guitarist, he pioneered rock and roll. Rock and roll goes back to a ship rocking and rolling, but then a DJ in 1951 coined that term. Alan Freed coined it, which is the new style of playing this kind of rocking and rolling music. But as we saw with Louis Jordan, he did that on a saxophone with his band. And we talked about how it was swing big band music in the 30s. You know, it was really big in the 30s and 40s. But Louis Jordan comes in and makes it a smaller band because it's way less expensive. And instead of paying 30, 40 guys, you can pay 8 guys to get that big sound where he's almost using amplification. By the time Chuck Berry comes in, of course, the electric guitar is going to be taking over. And without Chuck Berry, we probably wouldn't have the Beatles and the Rolling Stones. I mean, people, go on and on about his importance, and it was very important. So let's take a look at just what, let's get over there. Let's leave Arkansas and go to Missouri. Let's take a look at what was going on. So he grows up in St. Louis. He's born in 1926. He's going to be perfect timing in the sense of what's going on. So the 40s, the World War II, right? World War II ends 1945. Soldiers come home, people come home, the white picket fence. By the 50s, what's going on? You get the teenager, because Catcher in the Rye comes out in 1951. That's J.D. Salinger. That's going to be hugely provocative and important. And we get movies like Rebel Without a Cause, Nicholas Ray, in 1955. We get somebody like James Dean on the screen. This is the teenager. It's weird to think that the teenager didn't really have an identity beforehand. Of course there were teenagers, but the 50s, the teenager was, and what was the teenager interested in? Cars, food, sex. I mean, these were things, high school kids were thinking about. And we could look at Chuck Berry's lyrics and music from a political but really what he was doing was just trying to make a buck and make good music for people that wanted to buy it. And he did it really well. So let's take a look at how he did it. Let's listen to Louis Jordan's Ain't That Just Like a Woman. Ain't That Just Like a Woman comes out in 1946, about 10 years before his big iconic song Johnny Be Good. Let's listen to Louis Jordan and just tell me if you can hear the influence.
Happy as a man could be till Eve started messing with that apple tree. Ain't that just like a woman? Ain't that just like a woman? Ain't that just like a woman? They'll do it every time.
Okay, so that's a lot of fun, right? That's in the 40s. That sounds pretty. So 10 years later, Chuck Berry is going to be doing something with a song called Johnny Be Good on the guitar. Listen to this and see how parallel they sound. It's very cool, right? I mean, again, I'm just trying to show the evolution, not so much, oh, so-and-so stole from this, because as we all know, everyone, copies and borrows and steals and all that stuff. So it's the evolution. It's not so much like, oh, okay, because we could go 10 years before Louis Jordan, you just keep going back and back, and this is what keeps me up all night, all the time. You just keep stepping back. So, but for right now, Johnny B. Goode is definitely is influenced by Louis Jordan's, song. So, I mean, how did Chuck Berry get this? I mean, he listened to Louis Jordan, but I mean, he sang in a church choir, right? Age of 6, and started playing guitar as a teenager. In the 50s, Chuck Berry's going to do a few things really well. He's going to tell stories with his lyrics, teenage stories, very simple but clever and witty lyrics. He's going to have an attitude with the guitar. So this is what the Beatles and Elvis and other people are looking at Chuck Berry doing. He's not just standing up there. It's the package. It's the rock and roll package that we know today. But where did that come from? Mostly came from Chuck Berry.
Chuck, it's Marvin. Your cousin, Marvin Berry. You know that new sound you're looking for? Well, listen to this.
He was on stage with the guitar, with the moves, with the songs, with the voice, with the attitude. Attitude is very big. With the duck walk, that set the template for people that are still doing that today, right? So really by 1955 with Maybelline, he's taking over music. By that time, he's number one.
Oh, Maybelline, can't you be true? Oh, Maybelline, why can't you be true? You started back doing the things you used to do. As I was motivating over the hill, I saw Maybelline in a coupe de ville. Cadillac rolling on over the road, nothing not to run my V8 Cadillac doing about 95 and just bumping the bumper, rolling side to side. Maybelline, why can't you be true? Oh, Maybelline, can't you be true? You started back doing the things you used to do.
You see that attitude and charisma he's got? This is stuff that Elvis has, but Elvis isn't writing his music. This is why Chuck Berry was super original, because he actually wrote, I mean, not that these are symphonies, but he wrote the lyrics and the music. Elvis was interpreting it in a brilliant way. Little Richard was interpreting it, James Brown. And this is what's really cool, because, we think of Europe being, ahead of it a lot of times, ahead of classical music or whatever. But then without America, you wouldn't have Beatles and the Rolling Stones, because we developed jazz, we developed rock and roll, and Europeans took note of what we were doing. I mean, if we think back to Scott Joplin, what a brilliant, genius American composer. Ragtime, right? From classical music, somehow we shifted over to ragtime, and from ragtime, that's where jazz and popular music really started. But I mean, he's in the 1800s, late 1800s, Scott Joplin. So I'm always going back to that, because that's when music, not for lack of a better word, had a beat, because Rossini, as we've seen, had a beat, but really got fun and simplified in a very important way. So what does this music look like? This is just the beginning of a piano version. Obviously, Chuck Berry does it on guitar, of rock and roll music. But I just want you to see visually what this would look like. This is, of course, not the real instrument, but this is what it looks like. To me, that looks a little bit like Scott Joplin, which is, 50 years before with Maple Leaf Rag. I don't know, when I looked at that, I just saw some similarities, so I wanted to share that with you. So Chuck Berry, I mean, we'll come back to him, we'll come back to Louis Jordan, just about our evolution of understanding music. A masterful, talented guy. I mean, lived till age 90, so just died a few years ago. NASA launched in 1977 the Voyager 1 in space, and for future generations, if it was ever found, they put some stuff on it. So, and one of the things was the rock song Johnny B. Good, because that could symbolize his importance was huge. The talent, the timing, all these things were really important. So he'll live on forever, for hundreds of years, maybe thousands, who knows. So I thought I'd share a little bit of Chuck Berry. Tomorrow I'm a little homesick, so we'll be going back to LA, and hope you enjoyed this, and see you tomorrow. Okay, bye.